Welcome, everyone, to Future Capital's AGM. This year marks a special milestone for us, our 10th anniversary. So while we are meeting online, I'm grateful to have all of you from different parts of the world coming together to celebrate this with us. Our theme for this year is a decade of progress and pioneering next. It reflects our journey over the past 10 years and our vision to continue shaping the future by supporting transformative technology innovation and resilient founders. Today, my team and I will walk you through Future Capital's 10 years journey, key global macro shifts, their impact, portfolio highlights, and our vision for the path ahead. With so many participants online, we've decided the most effective way to handle questions is through a designated Q&A box on Zoom. So please submit your questions and we will get back to each of you individually in the coming weeks via email or call. From seed investments just less than 10 years ago to now market leaders and even global leaders like Li Auto, our portfolio is a reflection of the transformative power of technology across industries. Our portfolio has shown exceptional growth metrics, and behind these numbers are stories of those founders who turned crazy ideas into billion-dollar business. Many achieved more than 10x growth. We now have over 1 billion in AUM. 700 million have been distributed or currently liquid securities. We are delivering more than 6x returns for LPs in our mature vintages. We have received growing trust and credibility as demonstrated by the global reach of institutional LPs across the US, Europe, Middle East, Southeast Asia, and Japan. Here, I want to give special thanks to those LPs who chose to trust and support us when we started our journey 10 years ago. I would also like to take a moment to thank my team. 10 years ago, it was just me and a few smart interns. A few of our older LPs should remember those old days. And this is an image of our first outing, just three of us. Along the way, I realized this should not be a one-man show. So starting 2017, we started beefing up the team. Gloria joined us from a leading law firm, and she used to serve multi-billion-dollar tech giants. Terry joined us as a scientist turned entrepreneur. Eric joined us from an IT consulting firm, and he was once a researcher in computer vision as early as 15 years ago. Maron ran a hotel chain in Hainan Island, and she was a Yale undergrad and ex-Credit Suisse banker. Evan was a coder for 10 years at Microsoft and Baidu, and many other young blood. So this is a team that is non-conventional and willing to take risks. We went through a lot together, both professionally and personally. During the COVID, some of our team members were separated. Maron quarantined 9 times. We were with some of our colleagues when they lost family members during COVID. And 4 Future Capital babies were born during the COVID. We went through huge shifts in global markets and world order that even people in their 60s haven't experienced. If there is one reason why we were able to weather through everything, it's because we have a cohesive team that has built trust through difficult times. We listen to each other and support each other. And most importantly, we share the same passion to helping great founders to build great companies. We have made our share of mistakes over the past decade, but the one thing I'm absolutely sure we did right was making bold bets on the future. We are an early-stage specialist venture fund, and our job is to make bold, decisive investments in the most disruptive technologies and ahead of the curve. This is how I believe future capital can deliver the most value to our investors. By backing the super product managers of each wave of innovation as a first check, we've consistently stayed in front of the biggest shifts in tech. The most systematic alpha out of China in the past decade was EV. Li Auto is a prime example, growing from a one-man show to delivering 1 million cars in just 59 months, becoming a $30 billion Nasdaq-listed company. Our investment returned more than 100x. The EV revolution demonstrates the power of consolidating hardware and software into a cohesive stack. This approach laid the foundation for exploring similar opportunities in adjacent industries, such as cloud-native technologies and robotics. We extend our learning by investing in cloud-native technologies, which became the backbone of scalable global software solutions. PingCap and StarRocks are now leading Silicon Valley-based companies serving top-tier global clients. The robotics sector shares a similar technology stack, blending hardware and software innovation. We identified top players early, including Narwhal Robotics, which now brings its intelligent solutions into over 3 million households worldwide. Looking ahead, the biggest opportunity over the next decades will be generative AI, a topic I'm sure you heard a lot about. We were ahead of the curve again, investing in Minimax early in 2022, before OpenAI released ChatGPT. Today, Minimax is one of the world's top large language model companies by token volume, with ambitions to become the factory of AI agents, much like ByteDance in the mobile era. This slide summarizes future capital's edge, and we will continue to strengthen our moat as we prepare for the next decade. Once again, when I think about how we can best add value as an early-stage venture capital fund, it's making bold bets on the future. In tough markets, boldness is not just necessary, it's where the greatest rewards lie, as long as you're early. Over the past few months, we've had the pleasure of hosting many global LPs traveling to China, searching for answers. The big questions: more tariffs? Yes. Geopolitics? Worse. The economy? Still not great. More restrictions? For sure. But honestly, what else is new? Here's the funny part. The bad news has been so consistent. No uncertainty left. It's just tough, plain and simple. And everyone agrees on that. But let's be honest, when has real progress ever been easy? For us, we learn from our entrepreneurs. It's about stepping up, finding solutions, and uncovering the opportunities that these interesting times offer. We are seeing some interesting things on the ground that give us a hint of what the future might look like. Firstly, the future will likely be a multipolar world. Secondly, this may be counterintuitive, but we think geopolitics might actually force the rise of new kind of global company from China that we never seen before. In the past, Chinese companies mostly focus on manufacturing in China and selling products to global markets. Now we see companies not just selling, but building global operations from day one, with new structures and KPIs to compete internationally. This new breed of companies leverage the best resource from everywhere: talent, supply chain, and markets. They embody the idea of an international citizen, rooted in one place but thriving on a global stage. Take Elon Musk, for example. Born in South Africa, started his company in Silicon Valley, building in China and operating globally. We are now seeing Chinese startups adopt similar patterns, creating organizations to compete globally from the onset. Another observation is the shifting dynamics within venture capital itself. Number of players is shrinking dramatically. This creates unique opportunities for funds like us, capitalizing on both market gaps and the emergence of resilient, globally minded founders. There has been a lot of speculation about China's latest stimulus measures. The positive is the signaling and the good intentions. This can only come from the very top. This also dismisses the two common misconceptions from Western media about China's leadership. One, their leadership doesn't care about the economy, and the two, they don't have up-to-date data on the economy. The negative is demographics and fiscal challenges are still question marks. A lot more needs to be done. A key indicator is the recovery of private sector confidence, because the private sector contributes over 90% of employment. On the ground, we are seeing some positive signals, such as the lifting of IPO restrictions. So what will happen going forward? Negativity has been priced in. Fundamentals remain strong. There are smart, hardworking entrepreneurs still working on new ideas. Tourist investors have left China. In that sense, from purely an investment perspective, this might actually be a great time to take bet on China. This brings us how we see the future. Future Capital 1.0 represents the last 10 years, where electrification shaped our investments in industries like EVs and renewable energies. Now, along big global changes, we're also seeing a shift in technology and industry cycle. Future Capital 2.0 is all about intelligence, which drives areas like AI native applications, AI hardware, and embodied AI, industries we believe will shape the next decade. Over the past decade, we worked with founders who were focused on dominating the domestic Chinese market. They were grassroots entrepreneurs who thrived on non-consensus opportunities. In the next 10 years, as I mentioned, we're seeing a new kind of founder, rooted in China, but thinking global from day one. They treat global markets as resource pool and have fluent identities like Elon Musk, who operates on a global scale with no single origin. Spotting leading company early is what we do best in Future Capital 1.0. We backed founders like Li Auto and NIO during the electrification wave. Now, in Future Capital 2.0, we are investing in companies like Minimax and Narwhal, who are leading the way in intelligence. As we look to the next decade, we are evolving our approach. We are elevating our team to also have a global mindset, establishing connections with global innovation hubs like the Silicon Valley, Europe, Japan, and the Middle East. We are learning from front runners and forward thinkers, both Chinese and global companies. So we understand what makes a truly global company. One goal we set for our team is that over the next 24 months, we intend on taking 20 of our portfolio companies go expand globally. We are also leveraging AI tools to stay ahead, screening, sourcing, conducting analysis, startup monitoring and tracking. This helps us move faster and work smarter in identifying the next big opportunities. I will pass the mic to my colleague, Maron.
When Mingming mentioned this new breed of founders with a global mindset, which is a skill set, it's the ability to view each market as pools of resources and knowing what to take from where. So, what is China's strength in the technology value chain? Every technology generally moves through 4 phases: the initial scientific discovery, a technology breakthrough, an engineering breakthrough in scalability, and finally, product commercialization. So, as an example, how did EVs come about? Back in 1975, scientists discovered a concept called lithium intercalation. Effectively, batteries can be recharged, but no applications yet. In the 1980s, people then discovered new battery materials: lithium cobalt oxide and lithium iron phosphate. The breakthrough here is batteries don't explode. Then later on in the 2000s, there was an engineering breakthrough, which was Tesla's 1A650 battery, which basically patched together a bunch of small batteries that you would use in your electronics and make it possible to be applied to powering a vehicle. CATL then further engineered that for mass production, and that's how we have EVs today. So by the way, timing-wise, when things come to the engineering phase, this is when VCs like us really start to study this sector. So while the West excels in scientific discovery and foundational technology, China is the strongest in engineering breakthroughs and product execution. The consensus amongst top entrepreneurs is that China is still the best market to commercialize the technology rapidly. To give you a couple examples, CATL took only 7 years to become the largest lithium battery company in the world. Li Auto took just 8 years to become the top 10 EV brands globally. So this is the type of framework we use when analyzing tech cycles. As a venture capital fund, identifying when technologies reach the engineering phase is critical. It is an inflection point that signals readiness for scaling and commercialization. This is generally when we think about investing because fruition will come about within the fund life. So, where are we in this timeline in the age of generative AI? From a venture capital perspective, generative AI is now a game of engineering and product execution. For large language models, the scientific challenges of the transformer architecture were solved with breakthroughs like the 2017 paper, Attention is All You Need, and the technology breakthrough was GPT-3 in 2020. Catching up to ChatGPT is now less about fundamental science and more about solving engineering challenges, scaling model deployment, improving computational efficiency, and refining post-training capabilities for specific use cases. This is where China excels, and entrepreneurs should think about how to leverage that. This is also the reason why after early 2022, after we invested in Minimax, we stopped investing in LLMs. At this point, LLMs are no longer a VC game. It's more for PEs or strategic players with significant resources. Now, we think that timing is ripe for killer applications. A critical question to ask for long-term investors is where will value ultimately accrue as AI technology matures? It's important to point out that we are still at the very early stages of AI. At this stage, infrastructure players like NVIDIA dominate. Similar to the early days of internet, if you remember, companies like Cisco and Intel dominated. But as history and technology cycles show, whether in the internet, mobile internet, or cloud era, value shifts over time. As the technology matures, which it inevitably will, foundational and enabling technologies often become commoditized, with the majority of value ultimately accruing at the application and end product layer, which you can see from the chart. Even if you take the M7 companies as an example, almost all except one are super application companies. We would expect a similar trend in AI, so we want to be early in identifying and investing in the super products and applications. As I mentioned, value will ultimately accrue in the super application layer, though we are still in the very early stages of this cycle. Along the way, it's crucial to distinguish between what makes good AI technology and what is required to build a super product company, and we are focused on investing in these super product companies. While algorithms, computing power, and big data, the golden triangle, are key components of what makes good AI technology, creating a killer product company in AI needs a lot more, what we call full stack capabilities. It's a lot more than just the technology itself. So the type of entrepreneur we are looking for needs to show that they can integrate these capabilities and technologies as the foundation upon which to build their products. So I'll now hand over to my colleague Evan to speak on how we define these applications or AI agents. Thank you.
Thank you, Muron. Let me start by sharing Future Capital's perspective on AI agents. We see agents as a revolutionary new type of software application. They are capable of autonomously taking on tasks and delivering the end result. Imagine this. In the physical world, tools and machines require manual, step-by-step operation. Coworkers and employees, on the other hand, simply take a task, gather necessary information, use the right tool, and deliver the result. The same applies to the digital world. When mobile apps and SaaS function like tools, AI agents act like co-workers and employees, working autonomously to handle complexities and deliver outcomes without constant oversight. The business potential? Massive. Each day, we lost countless hours buried in tedious paperwork, verifying information among endless noise, managing family and social plans, or juggling schools and kid schedules. Now, imagine a world with hundreds of billions of AI agents, possibly more agents than people. These agents can either collaborate with us to solve problems or independently execute tasks as instructed, seamlessly eliminating these invisible drains. Ultimately, agents won't just save time, they'll multiply it, making time an unlimited resource and unlocking opportunities we've only begun to imagine. The next question might be, why invest in agents now, when ChatGPT launched 2 years ago? Let's look at agents from a system perspective. They consist of 4 core parts: LLMs, tools, planning, and memory. All 4 are undergoing transformative change, but I'll highlight 2 key shifts. First, cost. History of software products shows that when marginal costs approach zero, scalability takes off. Just as falling cost of network infrastructure drove internet boom, the 99% drop in inference costs is unleashing agent scalability. Second, reliability. For serious applications, reliability matters more than fancy features. Recent breakthroughs like O1's snow thinking capabilities and other post-training techniques significantly improve reliability, enable agents to tackle sensitive domains like enterprise operation and market analysis. Now you may wonder, isn't this place dominated by foundation models companies like OpenAI or traditional software giants like Microsoft? Actually, startups have tremendous opportunities. Here's why. First, from generalist to specialist. Foundation models are generalist, like versatile but untrained college graduates. But for real-world use, they need pre-job training to become specialists. For instance, a legal analysis model is vastly different from one for creative writing. Both differ significantly from ChatGPT's general use case. Second, multimodal integration. Advanced applications often require multiple models tailored to different needs, cost, speed, or expertise. Take Perplexity, for example. They combine GPT for general queries, Claude for reasoning, and Llama for cost efficiency. They also have their own specialized models and algorithm modulars. Third, specialized niches. Major players can't tackle every scenario. Startups thrive in areas too niche for giants to scale profitably. Just as app developers succeed where Apple can't focus, and SaaS developers succeed where AWS can't focus. We believe this era will give rise to AI agent companies. We have already made investments in this space and will continue to expand our efforts. Lastly, beyond software, a similar transformation is happening in hardware and robotics. Let's look at the EVs. They didn't just reinvent vehicles, they transformed the entire value chain. The biggest winner were product layer companies like Li Auto, which we backed early on. Now, GenAI is reinventing robots and intelligent hardware. Traditional hardware was built for a single task in static environment, but GenAI introduces generalization, enabling robots to handle dynamic scenarios and multiple tasks at minimal actual cost. This is especially critical for industries dealing with long-tail tasks or ever-changing environment. China has a unique edge here. As NVIDIA's Jensen Huang says recently, China's Greater Bay Area uniquely combines expertise in both mechatronics and artificial intelligence, giving it unparalleled advantage in physical intelligence. The end product layer, we believe, will mirror EVs in producing transformative companies, and we aim to back those pioneers.
Thank you, Evan. Next, I will use 3 examples of companies we invested to further explain the value of AI product-driven companies. The first example is Minimax. It's an AGI company that Future Capital invested in at an early stage, almost 1 year before ChatGPT was launched. Our bet is on the AI era's better dance. The company was founded in December 2021, and it has already got 40 million users globally and 2,000 paying customers for 2B. The project ARR for 2024 is $40 million.
Just like ByteDance is the app factory of the mobile internet era, Minimax is the AI agent factory of the generative AI era. Minimax's role-play agent platforms, Talkie and Xingye, are the market leaders in the United States and China respectively. Minimax's Hailuo AI Video has also become the world's leading video generation platform. These products are built on the company's self-developed multimodal foundation models and a self-owned training cluster with over 10,000 GPUs. As of August this year, the number of tokens consumed daily by Minimax is already 53% of that used by ChatGPT, and the data is still rapidly increasing. In terms of daily time spent on the app in minutes, Talkie users spend significantly more time than users on Character, AI, and ChatGPT. More notably, Helio AI's video generation section has become the most visited video generation website globally since its launching this September. It has surpassed Pika and Runway, which launched video generation models in 2023. Every day, global users use Helio AI to generate over 1 million video clips. Minimax is establishing itself as a global leader in AI, with Talkie and Helio AI receiving attention from mainstream media and the AI industry abroad. The company has also received overwhelming positive feedback from users across global social media platforms, including X, Reddit, Discord, and YouTube.
From the X homepage of Helio AI, you can see that Helio AI can generate videos good enough for commercial advertising. Different styles, characters, cartoons, and the video combined with the Minimax voice model, science fiction styles, landscapes. It allows everyone to unleash their imagination and use AI to create high-quality video content.
The second example of an AI application is LibLib AI. It is the Canva of the generative AI era. Currently, it is the largest tool and content community platform for professional image creators in China. The key reason why professionals can create accurate and usable images on the LibLib platform is the vast collection of over 100,000 fine-tuned image generation models, known as LoRa, which serve as templates for professional use. Globally, 80% of professional templates are available on the LibLib platform. Additionally, LibLib offers an AI-native workflow. Midjourney is more focused on 2C for fun and creative inspiration, lacking a workflow in LoRa community. Adobe Photoshop, while a professional tool from the previous era, represents the workflow of the past and also lacks a vast amount of AI LoRa contents. On the LibLib platform, no matter its architecture, e-commerce products, people, or cars, images of high quality, highly controllable, and commercially usable can be generated quickly. The company was founded in 2023 and is currently in its first year of commercialization, with an ARR of 3.6 million. Next year, it will officially launch and commercialize products overseas. The third example is RoboSpectra. Aging is a common trend faced by major global economies. In the new AI era, can the traditional wheelchair be reinvented? The answer is yes. RoboSpectra, an early investment by us, is an AI-enabled autonomous driving wheelchair targeting the global markets. Simply being electric is not enough for a wheelchair. It needs to be intelligent enough to adapt to more complex scenarios and enhance the mobility experience for elderly people. The founder previously led the development of automotive LiDAR at DJI. The company leverages autonomous driving sensors and algorithms, along with the advantages of China's supply chain, to reinvent the wheelchair.
It's the world's first autonomous driving smart wheelchair and is planned for launch in the first half of next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. We will now move on to our portfolio highlights section. We are seeing a refocus on profitability across all revenue buckets throughout our portfolio. So the companies with a blue plus mark is either already profitable or generating positive operational cash flow. The companies with the gray check mark have about 1 to 2 years path to profitability or are achieving profitability within certain months. For the individual active funds that hasn't hit maturity, we listed a couple of companies where the fund has meaningful position to let you know how they're doing. We are giving you a sense of revenue scale, their growth compared to industry average, cash runway, gross margin, and time to profitability. We are also highlighting who is the obvious winner, so that would be the fully green check mark. We're highlighting the high potentials, the partial green check mark, and those that are struggling a bit. So in Fund 3, the obvious winner is Duckbill. We expect a liquidity event, which Gloria will speak to you later on. Duckbill is the Uber of freight container trucks. They have expanded successfully to Southeast Asia. Now, Bloomchick is a high potential. They are an end-to-end online retailer for plus-sized women. iFiber is the next generation optical fiber, and they have gone out to operate in Europe. CV Sense is a CMOS image sensor used in electric vehicles. That's another high potential. For Fund 4, Eric has spoken plenty on Minimax. Another winner here is StarRocks, which is an analytical database company. The founding team has relocated to Silicon Valley. They were early in forming that conviction to go overseas. They're hungry in customer acquisition, very resilient. We brought the founder out to the Middle East once, and he has already secured a clientele there, intending to develop more over there. So for us, this is really a show of resilience in this climate. Nothing is a smart hardware company based in London. They manufacture in China, and they sell to India and European markets. Wellink provides graphics as a service. They started out servicing cloud gaming, working with players like MiHoYo for Genshin Impact. They have since expanded their products into producing digital avatars, rendering digital concerts, and visuals used in Vision Pro. They have also expanded presence to other markets such as the Middle East, Japan, and Southeast Asia. So amongst the Select Zero portfolio, Narwhal has outperformed. They were a bit late to international expansion, only really starting this year, but growth in overseas market has been very fast, at about 600% for the first half of this year. Overseas revenue contributes about 20+%, and that percentage will get to around 30 to 40%. They have been very fast in growing their market share. They hit about 3 million units in 6 years versus 12 years for iRobot. We are pretty excited for Narwhal for next year. They will be able to hit the 700 million revenue mark, which is a tipping point for economies of scale to kick in, where we'll really see some profitability start to come in. PingCap will take some time to grow into the valuation, but the fundamentals of the company are very strong. They have relocated to Silicon Valley and have been successful in securing large orders and importantly, strong upsells. They're also one of our first software portfolio companies to win clientele in India. Fund 5 is still in its early stages. Eric has walked through LeapLeap and RoboSpectra, so I'll highlight 2 other investments, Acool and Muyan or Moonlight. Acool is a video generation platform that we're pretty excited about. Moonlight, is more a bet on the founder. He is a serial entrepreneur and previously created one of the most successful AI portrait generation apps called Miaoya. You'll see on the lower left that his downloads for Miaoya has topped the charts in China, above Little Red Book and Tencent. So let's highlight a couple of red flags and write-downs. ClickPass in Fund 3 is a provider of low-code solutions. They are domestically focused. Xinghan in Fund 4 does multi-cloud elasticity management, focused domestically. Hose in Select Zero is an expense management software. They all have a couple of things in common. Number 1, they're a cost-saving B2B software. Number 2, they are limited by the domestic market, hard to scale overseas. We have learned that the adoption and the willingness to pay for B2B software in China is lower than what everyone expected. Chinese customers don't like to pay for efficiency tools. They like to pay for visible results or top line. This has to do with how Chinese organizations are set up and how KPIs incentives are structured. Obviously, with the current state of the domestic economy, people are cutting cost. We have been diligent in performing write-downs. This year in June, we had done another 20% general write-down across domestic-oriented SaaS companies, and we will continue to do so if we don't see any positive signs.
Reflecting on our journey, we have come to realize that effective post-investment management and exits are not only about theoretical frameworks, but also more about sound practical execution and discipline we apply throughout the process. That is where our fund's decade-long experience truly shines. During the past few years, we have achieved 6 IPOs across US, Hong Kong, and Asia capital markets. Through quarterly monitoring and phased exits, we realized $87 million exit proceeds from these IPO deals this year. On average, these IPO exits have yielded over 20 times our initial investment. This is a testament to our rigorous selection process and strong partnership we build with founders. In today's tougher market, it's just as important for us to actively explore different ways to exit in primary market. We've got to be flexible and think outside the box, looking at strategic sales, sell down in subsequent rounds, and management company buybacks when the timing feels right. And ultimately, that means we can get liquidity back into our LP's hands sooner. This is evident in the accelerated timelines of our first exits in the primary market. For instance, our Fund 3 and 4, as well as Select Fund, achieved their first exit earlier, within 3 years after initial investment. In 2024, we successfully completed 7 exits on primary market through sell down in subsequent rounds, including 4 founder company buybacks. These primary market exits have provided us with valuable lessons and insights for future investments. We remain committed to refining our exit strategies and leveraging our experience to navigate the ever-evolving landscape of early-stage venture capital. This year, our Fund 3 has entered its exit phase, and Fund 4 will start its exit period in 2026. We wanted to give you a heads up on what we are expecting in terms of liquidity over the next 18 months. First up, on the public market front, Narwhal, Duckbill, and SensorData are all gearing up to take the next big step by going public. Based on our forecasts, current market sentiment, and the growth we are anticipating for these companies, we have set some target valuation ranges for their IPOs. In light of the current tough market, companies looking to IPO will need to prove themselves with solid performance. This is a crucial time for our portfolios to show off their growth potential and profitability, especially with all the market volatility and uncertainty floating around. So the IPO timeline and the final valuation could still shift depending on how the market and companies perform. For Narwhal, Duckbill, and SensorData, we are fully committed to backing them as they go through their IPO journeys. We'll keep you in the loop as things progress and get more exciting. Now, moving on to the private market. For Fund 3, we've got 4 companies in our portfolios that we think will offer some appealing exit opportunities in the next 12 to 18 months. We're still holding a decent stake of shares in these companies. Our strategy here is to stay proactive and think ahead. We are planning to sell off some of our holdings during the next round of funding for these companies. We'll be taking the same approach with Fund 4 too. We've got our eyes on 3 promising exit opportunities with Volant, Tapro, and the Metaverse. We'll keep a close eye on the market and how these companies are doing as we go along. This way, we can lock in some of our investment gains early and secure returns sooner.
Just to wrap up our portfolio highlights section, we've been continuously refining our portfolio management approach to respond to a shifting market landscape. We've increased the frequency and granularity of performance reviews to better mitigate risks in a volatile market. The exit landscape remains uncertain, and as Gloria mentioned, we've strategically focused on diversifying our exit pathways to better navigate the challenges of an IPO environment in flux. Broad market valuations have corrected by 30–40%, driven by macroeconomic pressures. While sectors like SaaS and medical devices are seeing steep declines, AI continues to stand out globally. Since the ceiling remains uncertain, we are capping entry valuations and identifying lower floor opportunities to maximize returns. In tougher macro conditions, resources tend to concentrate around the absolute top players. This is reflected in our investment strategy, where we focus on capturing top product companies early to drive long-term value creation. China's 2023 VC PE deal flow reflects heightened investor caution, with deal volumes down 12% year-over-year, and capital invested down 24%. This calls for more selective deployment of funds and a longer diligence process to identify high-potential investments. Despite these challenges, we remain optimistic. Times like these are when disciplined portfolio management and a focus on quality truly set great investors apart. By doubling down on transformative product companies early and aligning with resilient founders, we are well-positioned to emerge stronger and capitalize on the next decade of opportunity. And with that, I'll hand back to Mingming.
As we wrap up this AGM and celebrate Future Capital's 10th year, I want to leave you with 2 key points about our path forward. Sporting leading companies early has always been our edge. We will stay ahead by investing in disruptive technologies and backing the very best product managers leading every major tech wave. We will iterate with super entrepreneurs embracing the next decade of China for the world. So thank you all for your time and for joining us today. This concludes our AGM. Just one more thing. Just to let you know, our opening theme song and parts of our speech was actually produced and generated by Minimax AI audio module. AI will soon be able to do a lot more. Thank you again, and we look forward to pioneering to the next decade with all of you.